What's up, Commonwealth? We are back for another awesome episode of the Bluegrass Soccer Cast, your home for all things soccer right here in our beautiful state in Kentucky. I'm Jimmy. That's John. And John, I don't know about you, but every time I hear that new intro, I feel like a superstar. Like, I feel like I need to grab my Google prototype lenses. I need to get lathered up from head to tippy toe in Vaseline. I need to hop in my 1990 Lamborghini Diablo VT and put on a show for everyone in the arena. But then I remember I'm not 6'8" and I was only a back-to-back champion in flag football. But anyways, John, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Jimmy. How are you?
I am in rare form today, my friend. Rare form. Um, John, it's going to be a big show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today as we're previewing the Women's World Cup. But I do want to say we are watching the Lou City Detroit match tonight. It is 1-0 at half. So if you all are taking a break from that, we really appreciate you all watching us at halftime and continue to watch us during the second half. But, John, let's go on and jump into things and let's go off the top. So, John, as I said, we're going to preview the Women's World Cup. And let's just dive on into things, my friend. Let's talk about Group A. So, what are you feeling from this group? Now, this group particularly is Norway, the Philippines, New Zealand, and Switzerland.
Um, so this group is kind of straightforward, in my opinion. Is Norway is the top dog with Switzerland right as second. Um, New Zealand is going to have to step it up if they want to be a host nation that makes it out of their group. They've actually been in every World Cup since 2003.
Which is really impressive.
They've never won
Well,
a
a lot
World
of
Cup
countries have
game.
been in multiple World Cups and haven't won much.
Yes, but they have also have looked of ill form of late. Um, so it for me, and then Philippines. So I have New Zealand as my last team in the group, with
Oh,
Philippines
wow.
as third, because
Okay.
I feel New Zealand and the Philippines you could switch depending on how their match together goes against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel Norway can win all three games. They might tie Switzerland. That's it. Switzerland's game can beat, in my opinion, both New Zealand and the Philippines. So
Ooh, I harshly disagree with you on that. When I'm looking at this group, I agree with you. I think Norway by far and away, what Hergsberger and some of the other players that they have, like Caroline, I think they really are going to be the class of this group. I think they're going to win all three matches. I don't think they're going to be that big of a challenge for Norway. They've got too much talent. But I disagree. I think New Zealand has a way better chance than Switzerland of finishing second in this group.
why is that?
Great. Thank you for that. I should have started with that. I just think that because you're a host nation, right, you're going to get that excitement. You're going to get that energy. And I don't know. I can't explain it, but when I was watching some of the highlights for Switzerland, I just was not that impressed. And I was really excited to see what New Zealand could do as the host nation. I think they win against the Philippines, obviously, lose to Norway then, and then I think they will beat Switzerland and put themselves into second place and advance out of the group.
See, listen. I could see the Ferns having that like hosting home soil kind of push to the thing, but their form of late has not convinced me of much. I could see them. They could be a shocker. I will give that. They have the chance to be a shocker of the group, but I feel more solid with going with Norway and Switzerland
But if you
than
remember
New
back
Zealand.
to what was that, the 2018 World Cup that was in Russia, right? That
Hmm.
Russia team had a terrible run up to the World Cup. Like they were not playing well at all, and they advanced to the group stage. I think this New Zealand team is set for a very similar path.
It's fair enough. Like I said, I feel like you can move them back and forth. In all honesty, but I just Switzerland has not been looking great, but they've not been losing like New Zealand has, is my only thing. New
True.
Ze so
Well, as with all of my picks, they're always going to be right, correct? Right? Like I'm always the one who gets it right. So I'm probably giving New Zealand the absolute biggest kiss of death of any team possible. But I hear you, man. I know Switzerland has looked just a smidge better in the lead up, but I promise you that feeling of being the host nation will carry them into the knockout stage.
Alright. Okay, I can see him going second then.
It worked. I was convincing. John, if we jump over to Group B here, I think this is by far the hardest group. You know, this will be your traditional group of death, if you have it
Group
right.
A Group F can, attest can challenge that in my opinion.
They can, but I still think Group B's got just a little bit more going on. I think that Australia and Canada, they're definitely the favorites heading into it. Both have a lot of stars on their squads across the NWSL and across the Europe leagues. I think Ireland is really strong, especially defensively. And I don't think you can even sleep on Nigeria. I think they're going to be a big challenge for most of the opponents that they face.
I could definitely see Nigeria being a big challenge. My only thing with Nigeria is that Nigeria, and this is the same for a lot of teams, a lot of the women's teams going into this, they have a lot of off the field issues going on.
They do. They truly do.
And while Nigeria is a great team in Africa, they're like the best team in terms of Cup of Nations for the female side. They have not been that great in the World Cup. Now I'm pulling for Nigeria because Lexington's Khalid Balogun's sister is a goalkeeper on the team.
Yep.
Um, Ireland, I Canada, I don't think is going to advance. I think Ireland is
Wow.
going to be the upset team with Nigeria in third, and
Wow.
that's
You think our
just
neighbors to the north are not making it to the knockout round?
the only reason I think is because, yes, they look great in the Olympics. You could argue technically they're the defending world champions if you want to view the Olympics as a world champion type view.
Right.
But I feel the Canada soccer stuff that's going on, and with all that going on and how it's affected them so far, I think that it could be the catalyst that gets the Republic of Ireland or Nigeria in. I'm going with the Republic of Ireland just because they have they're for those who don't like the women's game because they're very technical and they tend to be more off, not as
Hmm.
aggressive as men. Watch the women are the
Yeah.
women in green play, as their nickname is. They are very physical. They are very much in your face, and it'll be very interesting to see how any of the teams in this group stack up. I'm very curious to see how the Republic of Ireland play Australia and Sam Kerr.
Yeah. And I think that's a great argument to be made there. You know, I do also think that that physicality that Ireland has um, is going to be enough to really push, especially Australia, who is most likely the class of the group, right? Like, I think we both agree they're going to win the group.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that physicality is enough, but I just don't know if Canada um, is going to allow Ireland to give them enough space to be as physical. I think Canada has more talent, and I think that will show in the final results. So for me, Group B finishes Australia 1, Canada 2. I actually have Nigeria third, and then the Republic of Ireland.
See, I feel like the Republic of Ireland can get up on Canada and make a push. And honestly, in my thing, it's Australia and then it's chaos. You can honestly say it's chaos. I can see all three teams finishing bottom of the group. I can see all three teams squeezing out of the group.
That's
That
why it's the
mean
group of death.
yeah.
There's so
But
much competition.
personally, I still think it would if I had to do it would be Australia, Ireland, Canada, Nigeria.
Well, we kind of went
If
with
I
some of my picks in Group A, so we'll go with your picks here for on screen for Group B. But John, let's jump over to Group C. How are you thinking that one will shuffle itself out?
So this one I feel is a little more straightforward. I feel Japan and Spain are the class in this group. Now Spain also has been having some issues with their thing, but Spain is in a golden generation of sorts for their players. So I think their players, while they have many disagreements with their federation going
A
on,
lot.
and with even some threatening retirement from the national team and or sitting out in protest, we are the World Cup kicks off tomorrow at 3 a.m. for us, or
Blech.
3 a.m.
2
my time,
a.m. for the other side of the
yeah,
state.
4 a.m. for y'all.
No, 2.
Um, 2 a.m. Sorry.
You're good.
um, I still think with all that stuff and all we've heard now, we could see stuff happen during the games
Mm-hmm.
type thing. Germany in the Qatar World Cup came out of nowhere and did that hand
Yep.
over mouth protest. And so we could see some protests, but I don't think we're going to see anyone sitting out. If we were, it would have happened by now.
Yeah, I think it would have happened before they got down to either Australia or New Zealand. I'm not for sure where they're based at right now. But John, I'm gonna kind of echo what you're saying a little bit. I think Spain has a lot of challenges off the pitch, and I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome it. I think yes, they are the favorites in Group C to win, but I think that Japan is younger, more exciting, and I think they are a better contender in the tournament overall than Spain is. And to me, I actually have Japan winning the group ahead of Spain. I would imagine both of those two teams are going to draw when they play each other. So then it's going to come down to most likely who beats, no offense to Zambia, but who beats Zambia and Costa Rica worse to get the top spot. Both Costa Rica and Zambia, thank you all for participating, but you'll be on the first and second flights out of here. I think you all are not going to have any chance of making it anywhere out of this group.
I agree with your top two. Zambia, though, I feel Zambia has done some shocking stuff as of late, so I feel Zambia can make that third spot, but I do definitely feel it's Japan then Spain. My point with Spain was that it won't their off the field issues are going to cost them against bigger teams or better equal or better teams as is Japan. So I feel Japan is going to win all three.
Yep.
Like this match against Spain is going to be a close one.
That's
And
one of the biggest matches I'm looking forward to in the first round is when those two play.
yes, that one I feel is a big one. There's others out there that even not necessarily could matter for the group, but I just think they're interesting matchups in general. But I feel Spain still survives in the group.
They will survive. Hey, hey. Let's keep on and moving over now to Group D. John, so in this group, we've got China, Denmark, England, and Haiti. And really, for me, I think England is by far and away the best team in this group. But England has got a lot of injury concerns going on right now. They are one of the best teams in the tournament, especially when what's Walsh when she plays and that possession that she has and what she does in the midfield and keeping that attack going is really impressive. But they do have some injury concerns. They've got a lot of people that are listed as like questionable and stuff like that. So I don't know how much that's going to hamper the Lady Lions, but I think it could. Um, if you're looking at the rest of this group, in my opinion, Denmark making their first World Cup since 2007, China, really talented, lots of players that play in America and in Europe on that roster. Can they gel together and make something happen? I think they can. And then Haiti, again, thanks for playing. We'll see you all in 4 more years.
Actually, Haiti looked really good a year ago in the W Cup of CONCACAF. I
Mm-hmm.
actually I can see England. I still see England winning this group if all their questionable players are playing. I could see them get second, but my dogs are England winning the group, Haiti in second, with
What?
China in third. You
What?
got it. Here's my thing. Every World Cup, there's always a shocker. There's always a shocker out of each group. The last one was Morocco. Haiti, it was insane. They were way good. Their goal differential was crazy. I think Haiti has the attacking prowess to a take on China, take on Denmark, and even maybe draw with England.
I am flabbergasted by that, John.
You have to. I'm sorry. Every World Cup, there's a shocker. It's just the case of it. And I think Haiti has the ability to be the shocker in this
Wow.
World Cup.
All right. I mean, if that happens, I mean, not to get too geopolitical on the podcast here, but like how small Haiti is versus how big China is, like mind blown. And if they somehow do win this group, John, you're going to look like a prophet in that country for
I'm
picking
not
them.
saying they're going to win it. I still think I do think it. You could argue a toss up between Haiti and China. But my
Yeah.
thing is, there's always that underdog. There's always just that country that comes in. And I think while China does look good, Haiti is just, I feel like they're being slept on. They're being overlooked by being a Caribbean team, being
Wow.
in that, in general, Caribbean teams get overlooked because
They do.
historically, they don't perform well in CONCACAF or in World Cups. But Haiti is like an active attacking team that's going to push and force teams to play defensively. And I think that could play in their favor.
Wow. The upset of the tournament right there, folks. Let's hope that that doesn't carry over into the next group. Group E, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the Americans, and Vietnam. John, how's this one going to go?
This one I feel is another more straightforward one just because of how the separation between, in terms, I don't bet, but in terms of betting odds and favorites, there's a larger gaps in this group than most. It's the United States winning this.
By far.
If the United States don't
Oh, my God.
win at least 2 games in this group, and I could see them tying Netherlands in the sense of, because there is many questions with this U.S. team. They are younger. They bounced out of the Olympics, so there is
Yep.
questions. So I could see them tying the Netherlands. Like, remember, Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia in
They
their group,
did.
and they still won. So I can see the Netherlands being our trap game in the sense, but I do not feel they'll lose to Vietnam and Portugal.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think USA class of the group, but that the Dutch side did play them. That was in the last World Cup final, right? For the women's, I think that's who, or maybe it was a
Yes,
semifinal.
it was the 2019 final was against the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
so I agree with you. I think that could be a draw, um, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a draw. I think Team USA wins all three because that's not their first match. If they had to start out with the Netherlands, I think that could be something where you could see a draw, like a 1-1 kind of situation. Very similar to the Gold Cup with Team USA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Vietnam, glad you're here. Appreciate you. See you. 3 straight L's. I don't see it happening. I also don't see too much coming from Portugal, unless Cristiano Ronaldo just all of a sudden shows up for them. I don't think they're going to do much either.
Portugal could be interesting. They're a very attack heavy team as well as like Haiti.
Yeah, but they miss
And
everything. They don't hit it.
true, but we
They're
can
like
see what
shotgun
happens.
peppering everything.
We'll see what happens. I think Portugal will beat Vietnam. I don't think they can. I think they could squeeze a draw out of the Netherlands. I don't see them beating the U.S. So
No, no
them
chance.
being the how we have it on the screen, I feel is how it's going to go.
Agreed. Moving on to Group F. Now, John, you mentioned this as the possible group of death. This being Brazil, France, Jamaica, and Panama. Tell me why you think this could be the group of death.
There's multiple reasons. I will say, unlike Group B, I don't see Panama being able to escape this group
No way.
at all. So our Group B has people top to bottom that could, or the other three could be the runner up outside of Australia.
Yeah.
Group F, for those who more follow the men's game, Group F has a messy story. They have with Brazil, they have Marta. They haven't won a World Cup for her, and by many arguments, Marta is arguably the greatest women's player ever. Arguable. People put her up there right next to Mia Hamm and other people. You can
Maybe
have your
outside of the
whatever.
states. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, outside of state, she's most certainly the best non American ever, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, and just like Messi, she is beloved in Brazil. So I could see a lot of them like, we have to win this for Marta. So I see them, Brazil winning the group.
Agreed.
Now,
I don't want to spin.
Jamaica versus France is another game that is like a must watch, in my opinion, because this will decide the group. Jamaica versus France will decide the runner up.
But
And
Jamaica's never won a women's World Cup game, ever. This is only their
they,
second women's World Cup. You think they're going to take on and
I think they
challenge and
can
or beat
fall.
France?
I do, and I think that's
No
because of France's
shot.
issues. France has a lot of money issues. Now, for themselves, the women, France has a big push within its country about respecting the women's game
Mm-hmm.
as much as the men's because their men's side is so good right now. There's even like a commercial by some company where they like put the men's team on the women and showed highlights, and
Hmm.
it was like, oh, does that look familiar? No, because it was actually the women's or the Les Bleus or however they say it. It's the
Les
French
Bleus.
version. It's the French version of Les Bleus because that's what they're called. I still think France is going to win this, but do not be surprised. Is
No
going to be
way.
in the
Brazil's going to win it.
runner up.
Okay.
I said Brazil is going to win the group.
I was like, hold
I
on.
meant the matchup versus Jamaica. I still think France will
Oh,
win it, but I'm saying don't be shocked if Jamaica does. That's what I'm
I
saying.
would be
I'm putting
stunned
it out
if
there.
Jamaica won that. I know that they've got their issues with their confederation, just as Team USA has had issues in their confederation with pay for women, right? And I'm speaking about France. But there's no way that France loses to the reggae ladies. There's no way.
I'm just saying stranger things have happened.
Yeah, we put Haiti through. Let's go on and move on to Group G, which to me, this group is the most confusing to me. That's the group of Argentina, Italy, South Africa, and Sweden. And really, I think it comes down to three teams for me in Argentina, Italy, and Sweden. I think Sweden seemed to be the class of the group, and I
Sweden
can't
is
just go for it.
yes, Sweden is definitely the class of the group. They
But I
if
can't choose a second. I don't know. I don't know to pick Argentina, Italy, because they seem so evenly matched on paper, at least.
Italy has struggled and they have looked very slow and sluggish as of late. So how Italy comes in, I think, is how they're going to perform. I the Argentina South Africa match, I feel is the most important in this one
Mm-hmm.
because Italy is going to stumble against one of those teams, and
Agreed.
they need to. If Italy stumbles against South Africa has to beat Argentina then to advance.
Yep.
So look for that. And for our racing fans, MB is crucial to this. This is could be a breakout type campaign for her, in my opinion, and this is the perfect group to do so because I feel Argentina and Italy are perfect opponents for her. And there's are many like I've seen this reports about athletic coverage and that type of stuff. People are thinking she can have a breakout tournament And so I think it's Sweden, South Africa, Italy in third, with Argentina in fourth.
Yeah, I want to agree with you, but something is telling me that maybe Italy isn't gonna show up, kind of like they've done with the men recently, aren't gonna show up in this tournament like they can. So if we want to move South Africa to second, possibly, but there's something about this Argentina team that I think is really going to fight hard. Trying to see if they can be the first country to have a men's World Cup and a women's World Cup at the same time.
I don't see them getting close. I can see them making the quarterfinals. Argentina. Same thing with South Africa. I just think with I'm kind of doing some bluegrass bias is why I'm picking South Africa
Hey, nothing wrong
over
with no bluegrass
Argentina
bias right there now.
because of I'm giving Thembi. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Catalana.
Better
I'm
than I could
giving
have done.
I'm giving her the edge. I'm saying that because of her, South Africa is going to survive the group, and Argentina is going to go home.
Also, if you have the possibility of Argentina going to the quarterfinals, that means they would have to upset USA.
Does it?
Yeah, because
I
they'll
don't.
play the second
In my
place
head, yeah, in
runner up
my
in this
head,
group.
I don't understand how the bracket tournament works out. I
Nope.
just look at I go by group, and then there's times where I pick group, and I'm like, oh, well, I thought they would run further, but I guess not.
Yep.
Because I don't view it in that head that way.
Agreed. Just a quick update. The score for the Lou City game. Lou City had. Whoa. I thought they tied it up. Maybe not. But
Nope.
apparently Detroit has scored again. So 2-0 Detroit. My apologies, Louisville fans.
Trap game. I told
We'll
y'all.
get
Trap
there. Hold on.
game.
I got distracted. Group H is the group that includes Colombia, Germany, Korea Republic or South Korea, and Morocco. This group to me seems pretty straightforward, right? Germany, Euro runners up, massive favorites in the group. South Korea, very talented, always going to be able to advance to the knockout stage in pretty much any group that they are in. But Colombia and Morocco are both really good. And I think they can give a lot of challenges to Germany and to South Korea. John, how do you think this group will shake out?
I think it's gonna shake out like you've said. Germany very much are the top dogs. Germany have been, in my opinion, overlooked by England.
Mm,
Yes, England beat them in the Euros, but that final was a very exciting match, and it was very much toe to toe type thing.
mm-hmm.
Um, where Germany, yes, is the class, and they're gonna win the group. I have South Korea in second, but don't sleep on Colombia. Colombia has sneakiness to them, in my opinion. So my safe bet is Colombia is gonna be third, but don't sleep on them. Is all I'm saying.
And my bracket just refreshed out. So hold on. I'm going to have to go back in and make my picks again. So I'm going to be doing this live. So just recapping what we said from our previous conversations. John, let's go back to Group A. How did you have that going for you?
We had, as our producer clicks quickly back to it, we had Norway, New Zealand, Switzerland, Philippines.
Yeah. And then hold on. What did you have though? Like specifically what were your picks?
My picks was Norway, Switzerland, Philippines, New Zealand.
Okay, and then that's where I kind of differed from you, and we kind of
Yep.
were able to push New Zealand up just because of the host situation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, John, give me your Group B,
My group B is Australia, Ireland, Canada, Nigeria.
and then I had Australia,
I,
Canada,
yep.
Ireland, Nigeria.
Yep.
For me, Group C, I have Japan, Spain, Costa Rica, Zambia.
I was the same. I just switched Costa Rica and Zambia.
Yeah. Group D. Who did you have, John?
Group D is my shocker. I have England, Haiti, China, Denmark.
Yeah, there's no shot, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep Haiti in fourth for mine when I go to the knockout phase.
I could be
So
wrong. They're a good attacking team. I can see them being the upsetters.
fingers crossed for the Haitians. So just recapping mine: England, China, Denmark, Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Group E: the Americans, the Dutch, and then Portugal, Vietnam. Who do you have
Yeah,
in
we
three,
had
four?
same way betting
Same way.
betting odds. I feel like this one's the most straight group.
Yeah. Group F, I also think is pretty straightforward: Brazil, France, Jamaica, Panama, and you had.
I had the same because I do feel that France is going to pull it off, but Jamaica could sneak in. I'm not
Yep.
saying they're going to, but they could.
And then Group G, the one we just talked about, I have Sweden, Italy, Argentina, South Africa, and you had.
Sweden, South Africa, Argentina, Italy.
Okay.
Because I
And Group.
feel Italy's going to stumble into this World Cup.
Yeah. And I think they still have enough to get through. And the second place finisher in that group. Last group here again, Group H: Germany, South Korea, Colombia, Morocco. Same.
Yep.
Cool. So let's move on to the knockout phase here, John. Let's start with I have Norway, Spain. You have.
As the
You
winner
also
of
have
that,
Norway. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I have Norway getting out of that. I feel like Spain's issues, come, can Norway getting out of that because I feel Spain's issues could mess them up. Partially because of, uh, Norway also has Ada Hegerberg back, and this is her first World Cup in some
Hmm.
time because she sat out of the national team from 2017 to 2022. So I think Norway pulls it off against
Absolutely
Spain.
agree. I don't even think it's going to be that close. I think Norway wins comfortably 2-0 in that matchup. Moving on to USA, I have Italy.
South Africa.
You have South Africa. I think either way, I think the Americans are through. If it's Italy, it's going to be 2-3, maybe even worse, to 0. If South Africa, I'll give you some points there. I think they might pose a little bit more of a challenge just in play style to the USA. But I still fully think Team USA is on. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, USA. I don't. I'll have to see the matches, but USA I think is through to the semis.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Next matchup, I have Japan, New Zealand. You have Japan, Switzerland. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want so badly to continue this run for New Zealand. I can't tell you. I don't know what part of New Zealand has come up and bit me, probably one of their giant bugs. But I am so excited about New Zealand, but I cannot pick them to beat Japan. There's no shot.
I was
Japan's
about
too good.
I was about to say. Say if
No,
you think I'm crazy, like I have Haiti making it out of the group. I'll have to see who they're matched up against, but I have them making it out of the group, not necessarily going to the quarterfinals.
right. No, I could not do that. I make terrible picks, but I don't make that bad of picks. Moving down, we both have Sweden and Netherlands. How do you think this one's going to play out? Because I think this could be
This
a
I
very
think
pivotal
is
matchup.
this I think is from what I'm seeing at least is probably the game of the round of 16
Yes.
in terms of who's the closest generally to each other. I could see the Netherlands squeezing out of this. That being said, I think it will go to pens, and I feel Sweden will pull out.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that um, this is going to be the highlight of this round, if not the whole tournament. Um, I don't know, man. I'm over here kind of back and forth. I think Sweden has the better roster. I think the Netherlands are playing better. Um, yeah, coin flip for me. I'm gonna say Sweden.
Yeah. Like I said, Sweden's through on pens. So it's
Yeah,
very much like it's anytime I say a team is winning on pens, that's very much a toss up to me.
yep,
I'm just giving the Sweden the edge in my book because I have to pick somebody.
absolutely. The next matchup, Australia and Haiti. For you, I have Haiti and, or I'm sorry, Australia and China. Do you see the Haitians
No, no,
continuing their
no,
run,
no, no.
John?
No, I think Sam, in my opinion, Sam Kerr has the chance to be the player of the tournament.
Yep,
She is that good, and the fact that she's not talked about enough, partially because she doesn't play in America,
yep,
plays the factor. But Australia is gonna class Haiti, China, whoever they face. I feel Australia is going to go through to the quarters.
agreed. I agree. I think Australia is just got too much talent. They've got a very cohesive group that plays together. Yes, they play in different countries for their clubs and stuff like that, but when they come together as a national team, they come together as a strong unit, and I don't think China has enough to break that down. Moving on to the next matchup there, Brazil, South Korea. I think this could be another really entertaining match in the round of 16. I'm tempted again to take the upset and to take South Korea just because I know they have so much talent. But I want to go back to something you said earlier, John. I don't think Brazil is going to allow Marta to go out that early. There's no way.
No, there's no way. I think it'll be hard fought. I could see this going to extras,
Yep.
maybe even penalties, but I feel like Brazil is going to go through. I feel like Brazil. If I had to pick a team before watching any of the World Cup that has like magic with them, I feel it's Brazil, and I feel that's with the Marta. That's the wanting to send the icon off right
Yep.
magic.
I agree. And I think while South Korea has a lot of talent, I don't want to downplay that. I just think there's no way Brazil lets them go out that early. Moving on to the next match, I don't want to take too much time because I have England and Canada. I think there's no shot for Canada in that matchup. So I easily think England moves on 2-0, if not worse. But I really want to talk about your matchup, which is the Republic of Ireland and England, because that is way more interesting.
I I still think England will pull this off. I still think they would win, but this very much could be. There's a lot. If this matchup happens, this truly. If you want, in terms of on the field stuff, I still feel like England's dominance going. But if you want all the like
The
off the
political side
field
of things
political
between those two,
tensions, just remember
woo,
remember what the Queen of England died in September, right? Right, September. Irish
yeah,
fans were singing in their next national game, "Lizzie's in a box."
yep.
The
This will
Irish
be so entertaining
hate
to listen
England.
to.
They hate England. Ireland qualified for this World Cup by beating Scotland.
They did,
So
which they also don't like.
If Ireland does get to this, I could see this being a very chippy match. I could
Oh
see this.
yeah, this is
I
gonna be
could
muddy.
I could see some magic of the sense of like they're trying like their entire ancestors in their country winning, but I still think England's going to win this. And
I
that
truly hope
as
that this
someone of
matchup happens.
Irish descent, of Irish heritage, who's proud of it, I still think England's going to win this. I would love for
Wow.
Ireland, but England's just their class, and Ireland plays their way because they don't have necessarily the class talent. They have technical ability like most female soccer players have, but they have their style for a reason.
Yep. And like I said, if this matchup happens, this will be a must watch for so many reasons. But one of the biggest of that being the play on the field, because I think it will be muddy. I think it'll be physical. There will be people getting shoved all over the place. We might even see two red cards in that matchup if it happens. But
That very much can be like the Argentina Netherlands matchup of the
absolutely,
men's World
that's a
Cup.
good pull. That's a really good pull, John. But let's move on to the last match of the round of 16. Germany, France. Could be
Another
another
classic
entertaining one.
historical
Yeah,
battle.
indeed. Well, I didn't even think about that. This whole group for what we have on the screen here is like geopolitical like intrigue all over the place. Uh, you know, I have a lean towards Germany, just because I think, like we talked about earlier, France is vulnerable, right? I think they've got enough to get this far, but I don't think they have enough to get past Germany. I'm going to take Germany. What say
I'm
you, John?
I'm gonna take Germany as well because I feel, especially if England plays, I don't know exactly when these matches will happen. I don't know if Germany knows England will win or not, type thing. But I have Germany through solely because I feel like they would want another shot at England. They're
Absolutely.
gonna like they want that shot back.
They do, they do, they do. All right, moving on to the quarterfinals. So I have Norway, USA. Wait, do you have?
I had Norway picked. I don't know
Yeah, you had. Yeah,
why.
you didn't pick Spain. Hold on, producer, please go back. Whoa. All right. Had a little too much bourbon before we started streaming, eh? All right, here we go. Norway, USA, really talented matchup again, right? This is
Yep.
going to be a big test for USA because this is going to be a team like Wales, who we just did we draw? Yeah, we drew against Wales.
Hmm.
Can Team USA's young talent, can their reserves like Savannah from Racing Louisville, can they step up and give Team USA what it needs to overcome a challenge like Norway? I think they do. But if you, John, you want to tell me that you think Norway can pull this off,
No.
I might not fight too much.
It don't USA fans do not go into this thinking like we should
Oh no, this is
walk over
not a dog
Norway.
walk.
This is
No
not a
way.
dog walk. This is a grinded out game. Could go to extra time. Could go to penalties. But I still think the United States win. I not on pens. I feel like they win 2-1,
Outright.
1-0 type thing.
Agreed.
Um, because at this stage is that when I feel the USA's magic for their retiring star of Megan Rapinoe will start to get in there. When they start getting threatened and they're starting to play people who actually can knock them out, I feel like that's when the USA's magic could start bubbling to the surface.
And I think not even just Megan Rapinoe's last ride. This is probably Alex Morgan's last ride too. So like that's two stars.
Mm,
You think she could come back for another one?
how old Alex Morgan?
Great question.
She's 34.
So
So
she'd be
Rapinoe's
38.
38.
So she would be the same age.
So I could see both cases where she could, but I still think Morgan will stick it out, especially if it's going to be played in the US.
Yeah, if that happens, that's a different story. But let's move on to this Japan Sweden matchup, which is oh so interesting. Um, you've got this talent of Sweden, you've got the skill of Japan squaring off against each other in a matchup that I think is another coin flip. To me, I'm going to lean towards Japan just because I think they are a little bit quicker on the ball, right? That they
Yeah.
can move around in the midfield and in the attack a little bit better than Sweden, in my observations. But that Sweden defense, that Sweden's starting keeper, I don't have her name in my notes here, so I apologize to her. But she is very good. So I'm leaning Japan. How are you feeling, John?
I'm leaning towards Japan too, and that's solely because I feel Japan often gets overlooked.
Agreed.
Sweden is ranked like the third or fourth best team by FIFA or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, both FIFA and ELO rankings have a European bias to them.
Big time. Big
Espe-
time bias.
So I don't. Japan is the last team to beat the U.S. in a World Cup
They sure
knockouts.
are.
That's the 2011 final.
And
They
we
are
just
the
set them
last.
up for the semifinals.
Yeah, they are the last team to win the World Cup that's not named the U.S.
They sure did.
So
So
I
maybe I'm
feel
being biased, right? Like maybe I'm thinking too much about that when I'm
I
looking at
don't.
this Japan team, but I just I
I think
still think they've
Japan's
got
being.
enough.
I think Japan's being slept on by whoever makes the ELO and FIFA rankings, and Sweden's ranked higher, much higher than they can. Now Sweden has made their way to the quarters, which is an accomplishment. It is an accomplishment,
Yeah,
but Japan is classed and they have that experience. There's
agreed.
something to be said when you've been there before and you've made a final before. Now Sweden has won a World Cup, but it was it's like earlier on. Like it's more. I'm pretty sure there's a player on Japan who played with that 2011 team.
I think
Don't
there's a
quote me.
couple of
There's but
players.
they have that experience. I think
Yeah,
Sweden's is too far out for any of those players to still be there.
agreed. And they have a different coach. I know at one point they had the former USA coach. She went
A
there for
lot
a
of teams
time.
have former USA coaches.
Well, the
Australia has
one
a former assistant.
but no, there was one of the U.S. coaches that won one of the World Cups, and then she left USA, went to Sweden, but she's
Oh
not there
yeah.
anymore. I can't remember her name. But so now let's move on to the bottom half of the quarterfinal here. Australia, Brazil. This game has to be played in Australia. Otherwise, there's been a travesty. Like, could
I
you
don't.
imagine if the host nation had to go over to New Zealand to play this game?
I don't know if like the knockout stages stadiums are set in stone yet. They might
No clue.
be. The final is probably set in stone,
Yeah. That's
but
probably in Melbourne or Sydney or something.
yeah, outside of that, I doubt the other ones are set in stone just because of like how people come out of groups and that type of stuff. I don't see if Australia makes the knockouts them playing outside of Australia.
That would
Same
be
thing with New
cruel.
Zealand. I don't see New Zealand if New Zealand makes some magic run and they're in the semis, that semifinal is going to be played in New Zealand. You know,
That would be awesome.
I just don't see that happening for either host nations, them playing outside of their country for any reason but playing in the final.
Right. But
So,
then that's the final, so you have to kind
yeah,
of understand that.
yeah, that you have to be in the biggest city and the biggest
Yeah.
stadium. Um, I but Brazil has Marta,
Yep.
and I don't know. This is another one I think goes to pens, and for me, Brazil walks out of it.
Yeah, it's it's a great matchup. Let me be very upfront and honest. But of the four, it's honestly the least interesting to me, just because I think Brazil will come in and just keep marching. Like this will be clinical for them. I'm sorry to Australia as the host for not seeing them through, but I just think Brazil's got too much for this. I could even possibly see it going up 2-0 before the end.
I feel Australia is going to put up a little more fight than that, but
Yeah, that
I
home
could see
field.
I could see a 1-0 at the 90th whistle to Brazil.
Yeah. But let's move on to the last match, which has me very interested. England and Germany, coin flip. I think England has got a better attack than Germany does, but to me, Germany's got a better back line and a better goalkeeper again. Um, but I don't see any chance, or I don't see any pathway that Germany doesn't lose this game. I just don't think they have enough on offense.
Yeah, I think Germany gets the revenge from the
Oh, you're
Euros.
picking it.
Yep, I think Germany gets the revenge from the Euros. I think England's fitness comes into question because even if those players are questionable and they play, I don't see them being fully fit in the sense, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel the games start to toll on England. Knockout stages are especially taxing, especially after a game against in my bracket, Ireland, I
Yeah.
feel Germany is able to survive because I feel England does beats Ireland but does not come out of that unscathed for their especially their more questionable players in terms of health.
Yeah, that's a great point. I I hadn't thought about seeing if the physicality from a potential match with Ireland, plus the emotion that would come with that, I could see Germany taking that one. But to me, I still think England's got enough firepower, even with some of their injury concerns and their fitness concern, like you mentioned. At that point, you will have been in Australia or New Zealand for about a month. So your fitness is going to be through the roof, right? Like you're going to be peaking. So I don't think that's going to affect them as much as it might earlier in the tournament. But I think England's got enough to win it. For the bracket here, we'll say Germany. But let's now move on to the semis. All four teams, of course, now get an opportunity to play two more games. USA, Japan, a matchup from the previous World Cup. And this one is going to be entertaining. I think if this matchup happens, I think revenge is on USA's mind. I think, looking at Japan's road to here versus the USA's road to here, Japan's had a much harder road. I think USA gets their revenge from the World Cup final from a few years ago
Few
and
years
sends Japan
12
on to the
years
third.
ago.
Whatever. I'm old. Leave me alone. It felt like a few years ago. Back in my day, I'm gonna be Greg Cody up in this. Um, I think USA has got enough to move on. What do you
Yeah,
say?
I agree as well. This is also the point where the US could stumble. I
Easily
see
could.
could stumble. This game is all all World Cup games in my opinion are all must watch because
Yep.
it's the World Cup.
Of course.
Anything can happen in them. But this is the one that I feel is going to take fans on an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
I could see
Especially
them
after playing
conceding
Norway,
early.
right?
Yep. I could see the US conceding early, um, coming back type thing.
Yep.
I still see them squeaking out, but USA fans don't like don't go like the world's ending if they lose this.
Yeah. And I agree because I think at that point, if USA does lose, whoever they play in the third place game, if they come to play, let me put that emphasis out there. If USA comes to play full burden on a third place game like they would a championship game, I think there's no question of England or Brazil, they're winning. Just my thoughts on
Yeah.
that. But moving on to that Brazil England matchup, I think to me at this, or Brazil England for me, you have Brazil Germany.
Mhm.
To me at this point, I don't think England's got enough in my bracket to keep going. So I'm going to send Brazil on to the final. John, talk to me through about Brazil Germany in your semifinal.
See, this is I still think Marta's magic is going to work in
Yep.
this. I feel this is a awesome matchup for any football fan type thing. But I feel it's Brazil is going to make it out because of Marta magic.
Yep.
Um and then it could be close type thing. I could see Germany winning. Like you're in here's my caveat. If you have made the semifinals of any World Cup, you have the chance to be the champion.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. So any of those four teams can win, and I wouldn't be shocked if they won. I just feel Brazil's are gonna be pushing that retirement magic for Marta. I feel Marta herself is not gonna go down easy,
No. If you get
and
to this point, she's not coming off the field for that 90
yeah,
plus minutes. There ain't no
she
shot.
the only way she's coming off is like how Neymar came off, is
Right.
injured.
Right. Severely injured. This isn't just a cramp pull her off. No, this better be femur shattered kind of a situation.
Yeah,
I think if it is that England matchup, I think their injuries, their fitness at that point against a team like Brazil is they would have no chance. If it is Germany from your side, I think a very similar thing. I think that fitness of Brazil would be enough to kind of push them through. John, looking at third place matchup, Japan, Germany for you, Japan, England for me. To me, this is simple. No matter if it's England or Germany, I think Japan is the third best team. I just think tactically what they would do in a third place match, I think they would just tactically destroy any team that they would face in that kind of a situation. Because if you're a Germany or an England going into a third place game, you're not going to be as excited. But I think for
Yeah,
Japan, I think they would be up for it. You would get that A level effort. I think they would want to not go out with two straight losses. But if you're somebody like Germany or England, I think you might be willing to accept that.
yeah. Japan, most Asian countries, I feel in general, any game they're in, they're gonna give it their all. They're not because there's a point of honor with their culture, and so I can't see them just kind of like laying over in a
Yeah.
game. It's like, oh, it's third place, it doesn't matter, type thing. So I do feel Japan's gonna win that.
Yep.
If they're
Agreed.
it, yeah, Japan's gonna win that because they'll face off whoever.
From that other matchup.
Yeah, whoever
So now, John, the World Cup final, Team USA going for back to back
to back.
versus back to back to back, going for three in a row versus Marta and Brazil. How in the world is this going to end?
So, some context in general. If the U.S. make this final, they'd be the first ever team to make 4 straight World Cup finals. If they win it, they'll be the first ever team to win 3 straight World Cups. If Brazil win it, they'll be the first. Nope. They'd be the second nation to have a men and women's champion. Germany was the first.
Yep.
Germany actually was like back to back. Like they won
Mm-hmm.
2006 and then 2007.
Well, that was my whole argument with maybe why Argentina might do some things in their group earlier.
Yeah, but Argentina wasn't strong. It's not
No, no, not at
wasn't
all.
strong enough. I still this is really a toss up because there's also a part of me that there's a small smidge part of me that wants the US to lose this because I feel the US fan base as a whole needs that kind of wake up
Mm-hmm.
type thing. And I think that's what our younger players need. Because you got to think about it. These younger players, yes, you have, what's her name? She's 18. Smith. Her last name's Smith. She's on the U.S. But, like,
Oh,
she's,
I don't remember.
yeah. But she's 18. She's the youngest player on the team. But in that sense, she probably doesn't remember because she was 6
Yeah.
for the 2011 final. And so she definitely does not remember a time when the U.S. wasn't in a World Cup final because she would have been 2 then in 2007. That I feel we need a wake-up call. Our younger things, I feel it that the younger players need that. They need that thing of where they need a loss. It's
Yeah.
what the Abby Wambach, Carly Lloyd, early Alex Morgan, even Megan Rapinoe had in 2011 that made them go on this 2 World Cup tear. But I feel it's hard to win 3 World Cups in a row for a reason.
Right. Well, I really agree with you. I think if you get to this point, right, Marta is going to be winning the Golden Boot, right? Like, I don't think Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, or anyone else is going to have enough to topple Marta for the Golden Boot. So to me, it comes down to who's got the better keeper because I think both teams in this kind of a matchup are going to uh, be able to have quality attack, make you have turnovers, and punish you when they get to it. But whose keeper is going to crack? And to me, I still think the U.S. has a better group of keepers than what Brazil has. So to me, I'm sorry, Marta. You're great. You're a fantastic player. But I think Team USA takes the title yet again, 3 in a row, baby. Let's make it happen.
Oh, I feel US is gonna win. It it's gonna be a really good game. It could be a classic. I don't think it's gonna be like the 2015 Cup final where Carly Lord just went off.
Right.
Um, I don't think it's gonna be like the 2019. I think this is gonna be very close. I think that if anything, it could be like the 2014 men's final where there is the Super Mario Götze goal in the
Oh
113th
yeah.
minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where and it could be in the sense of some bench player, not a star, not the star of U.S. women's team, make solidifies himself in history type thing. Like I forget who it is, but like the famous picture from the '99 World Cup is not that's not Mia Hamm. That's not like any of the huge names. Like I feel this game has a chance to either go to pens or to it's gonna be like very late goal winner
Yeah.
sense for the US.
I agree. I think this could be very painful for the US as well, right? Like let's be honest. Like they can lose this game. This isn't a walk in the park. Um, but I do think they're not gonna let Megan Rapinoe go out without winning this trophy. I think she will drag the U.S. corpse if she has to across the finish line.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But John, so that will end our off the top segment today. We went really long on that, but I think we had some really good conversation, and I think we made the right picks for this podcast. Before we move on to our next segment, I want to make sure that you know that you can support this channel. If you want to buy us a coffee, we have a buy us coffee account. Please feel free to um, scan the QR code that's on the screen here, and it'll take you to our website. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. $1, $5, whatever you can. We really appreciate it. We've got some really lofty goals for some different things that we want to do for this channel, and how we want to progress what we do here. And we just need a little bit of support, folks. So, but with that, John, let's go on and go to the bottom line. John, we're supposed to start out talking about Detroit City and Louisville City, but currently that game is 2-0 in the 90 plus minute. So I'm going to go on a assumption that Lou City is going to lose another matchup here.
Yeah,
What's
they're
going on?
I've been watching this game to the side, so if I've been peeking over, that's why. They had 6 minutes of extra time. They just entered the 96 minutes, so final whistle should be anytime here. Um, I think there's two things in general. One, I feel too many people went into this for Lou City thinking Detroit would be a cakewalk.
Yep.
Um, my thing with it, yes, Detroit is the worst scoring team in the league, but they had good. They are Lou City is literally just was a tweak a step above um, Detroit City in terms of um, attack
Yeah.
because both goalkeeper squads have let in like either one or two goals difference. So this was very defensive matchup. It's 2-0. Detroit Lou City got put on the back foot right away with a 5th minute.
5 minutes
Uh,
in. Yep.
yep. And I think that just was the caveat. They, I, there's something with Lou City going on the back heel and going down. I
Yes.
think is costing them. They just seem like if they don't know how to come back into a game. It's either even and they're able to take the lead and then they've given up the lead, like we seen them against Phoenix the other day,
Yep.
a few games ago. They need to know how to play behind and how to get out of that, or at least get points out of that. 'Cause to me, it seems like once they fall behind, they like almost give up. The
Yep.
attack becomes too desperate in a sense where they don't it seems Lancaster and Owenby, especially in this game, Owenby, I don't know if he was just frustrated from all of his injuries. He was very chippy in this
Yeah.
game.
I was watching some of it on my phone, and I saw a couple of those moments of chippiness as well. And I'm like, if you're still kind of injured and you can't go out and perform your best, like, why are you playing? Like, don't go out there and try and be super chippy for nothing, for no reason. John, I just want to illustrate your point there. You're talking about goals for and goals allowed for both teams, right? So even with the 2-0 win, Detroit City has 15 goals for, and Lou City only has 17 goals for. So very close on that. Goals allowed, Lou City is only allowed 21 goals, including these two tonight, to Detroit, who has allowed 22 goals. So really emphasizing the point that this should not have been looked at as a cakewalk by the players in Lou City, but I know some of the fans were really looking this is a get right game, and this was clearly a get wrong game because this is going to drop Lou City further down the table.
It was a full trap game.
Yep,
I've
you
been
called
saying
it.
this. If you were in our Discord, I think I even said it on Monday. I've been calling it a trap game because there was also Keyworth is, again, I'm from Detroit. I will admit I have some bias. Keyworth is one of the best lower level atmospheres in America.
The atmosphere may be okay, but the stadium looks terrible.
The stadium is also
Especially
100
on
plus years old. The stadium is 100 plus years old. The supporter section is literally like
like
you could
3
technically
benches.
you could define it as standing room. Like it's like big slaps of stairs. I think technically speaking, if you go by the Huddersfield Town ruling, it would not be allowed because you can still do a human crush. I think technically speaking, the
Right.
stadium's super old, but the fans love it because it has like that old sort of
Mystique.
oldness to mystique, nostalgia. I don't necessarily know,
Ugh.
but
I
but
don't know how they're playing a USL championship match at that stadium. Like, it looks way too small. When you've
Tampa
got
Bay.
venues, even
Well,
Tampa Bay.
USL Tactics put out a tweet today about attendance, which Lou City is leading the league in average attendance.
Which
But
is great. We're glad to support the team.
many teams have the capacity of DCFC. It's around 5,000, 7,000. I think is the max capacity of the stadium.
Good Lord, how would you cram them in there?
I think they're counting the edge stuff and all that type of stuff. They have like luxury boxes that are shipping containers and all that stuff. It's very clever. But back to the game, in a sense.
Sorry.
What do you think is like the catalyst or what is causing this slip by Lou City in terms of going into games and not performing?
I don't know if the players have enough in them to keep winning late. I don't think they've got the batteries to keep doing that. So then when you get into a situation like tonight, 5 minutes into the game, Detroit's up 1-0, you're already defeated. It seems like this is more than a coaching thing. I don't think this is on Coach Cruz. I truly don't. So I don't want to hear on Twitter. I don't want to see in our Discord here in a little bit, fire Coach Cruz. I don't want to hear about it. This is beyond him, I think. I no longer think this is just a simple chemistry issue where a couple people aren't getting along. I think this is a team that needs to step up and start playing like they can and get through whatever BS that is going on with them and just play. Like, stop trying to be the Lou City of years past that was pushing for a championship, that was winning championships. Go out there, play ball, have some fun again, and then I think results will start coming back. But right now, with the way that this team is playing with a defeatist mindset like this, there's no shot that they might still make the playoffs just based on points. But they have no chance at winning a championship right now. None.
They have the point cushion because they
They
started off
do.
well. However, and
Didn't start off that well. They had like 2 wins out west, and then they got embarrassed at home by was it El Paso? Yeah, El Paso 3-0. Terrible result.
was it like in the late quarter, quarter,
like the end of the
early.
first quarter.
Yeah, I think I knew early they had a decent run on that kind of
Yeah.
brought them back up. Anyways, we can move into their game Saturday, who is against the Legion, who are right below them now. They are
Yes.
3 points below them,
Yep.
right
And I don't know if
behind them.
Birmingham plays.
No,
Surely they wouldn't
Birmingham.
play tomorrow.
No, Birmingham has the advantage of being able to sit. And if I'm
Mhm.
any coach, and if I was Stockley this past last night, if I'm the Legion coach, if the team we're about to face is playing a game in between us,
Yep.
playing a game, I'm bringing all the guys in. We're
Yep.
having a
Getting the
watch
team
party or
together.
whatever, and we're
Yep.
sitting and watching the whole game, and then we'll break down film later. But we're sitting and watching that entire game. And I
Right.
guarantee you the Legion probably did that. Wherever they
I'm
are in
sure they
Birmingham,
did.
they probably are sat and they just watched this game.
I'm sure they did. And let's be very honest, right? Birmingham is really good. They made a deep run in the Open Cup, not quite as far as Pittsburgh, right? But they still had a great run, very exciting. That matchup that they had with Inter Miami really showcased how talented Birmingham is. Um, so I I know I'm a little emotional right now because I'm frustrated because I know how talented Lou City is and I've seen what they can do. But right now, if I'm Birmingham, I'm coming to Lynn Family Stadium and I'm winning 3-0, no problem.
Yep. Then the last time that they faced Legion was over a year ago. They did beat the Legion 2-1 in Lynn, but
Yeah.
it's a very different year for Lou
And
City.
mark my words, if Birmingham does come in and embarrass Louisville like 3-0, pack it up. Don't even try to make the playoffs. Like just start getting everybody healthy for next year because at that point you're going to drop to about 6th, maybe 7th. Yeah, you drop to about 7th. You're still got a little bit of a cushion to potentially still make the playoffs as a 7-8 seed,
Yeah.
but then you're going on the road to Tampa or Pittsburgh, which Louisville has won at, yes, but I don't see that happening.
I wouldn't necessarily say pack it up because personally I don't believe players can do that. But I do feel they need to stop worrying about pushing guys, trying to
Yes.
get like O and B questionable should be out until not questionable anymore, until it's truly 100%. You're not playing guys who are questionable unless it's like 100% back. Just be healthy, get some people in rotation. Yes, you try to win some games, but play some of your youth maybe as some late time subs type thing. If you get a win, you get a win. They still have that point cushion. If it starts to get threatening, that's where you give that time sort of thing. The league is only just over the halfway mark. I think Lou City is now like one game over halfway, so that you still have time. You have point cushion and you have time to get healthy.
Yeah, this was the 19th match. And Birmingham's only played 18 because of some of the moving around they had to do with the Open Cup and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm really frustrated with it. But a team, excuse me, that you might be frustrated with, John, Lexington. What's going on with them in their next matchup?
So they're facing against a very dangerous opponent coming into this of Union Omaha. Union Omaha. I know their
I always want
place
to
on
say
the
Omaha Union. I always want
yeah.
to say that.
I know their place on the table doesn't look that way. I think they're 7th or 6th right now.
They are currently
Um,
6th.
6th. Okay. So yeah, against the Knox. But they have won 4 of their last 5.
Yes, they
That
have.
one loss is against NoCo, who is by far the best team in
Yeah.
USL League One. NoCo is on top of the table, and I think they have like 3 games in hand on everybody. Like if you look at games played, NoCo has like 3 or 4 games on hand or in
Nah,
hand.
they've at least according to what I'm looking at here, they've played the least amount of games.
Yeah,
They've only
I
played
mean,
15 games and have
that's what
32
game.
points.
Yeah, that's what games in hands mean.
Oh, my bad. I thought you meant the other direct. Okay, whatever. I'm just
No.
gonna shut up.
NoCo has 3 games in hand on everybody else and are top of the table. So they have an extra 3 games to play to everybody else who's behind them. So basically, Omaha's on a tear. Lexington is, in my opinion, they've dropped to the worst. The USL one dropped their power rankings today. Lexington is at the bottom, and
Very
that's
bottom.
because Fuego beat us. Chattanooga has looked a little bit better as of late, and it's warranted. Like
Yeah.
I tweeted this. If you follow me on Twitter, it's like I hate seeing them at the bottom, but they need to get some wins to move up.
Yeah.
They have to win. They can't get a draw. Now, being that Omaha got a red card to their left back, and it was a questionable red card. Their coach did come out and say how the reffing was terrible. And if you followed USL, and a lot of the people I've talked to at games, USL reffing is very questionable and terrible.
Questionable at best, John.
Yeah.
Questionable at best.
I've actually debated of writing of like how you would fix USL. I might explore this. For those who don't know, in this bluegrass soccer verse type thing,
Oh, breaking the fourth wall. Here we go.
Jimmy does our interviews. I'm more likely to do weird article type write-ups type
They're
thing.
not
I
weird.
have one coming out soonish as soon as our producer kind of figures out a picture to go with it about how pro rel could look in America in a 4-tier system. It's still closed because I didn't want to really disrespect USL2, the UPSL and MPSL by like ranking them type thing, and like we're not as I'm getting too off topic, but the way our pyramid is set up is not as straightforward as can be for England, but it's as close to a true pro rel system as we could get. I think realistically, without going crazy and without me trying to figure out how to divide up like 200 teams.
Yeah, it would be impossible.
Because if you look between like the USL2, MPSL, UPSL, throw in the Midwestern Premier League and all this type stuff, you're getting in the network of like 200, 250 teams.
Yep.
And I was already struggling with like 90 technically teams. So,
but like I told you, so I've read the article. It's great. It is really a good read. I can't wait till we do get to release that because John really did a good job of like organizing his thoughts. But I think a 90 plus, pro rel system over 3 leagues seems about right.
it'd be over 4 because I threw in Nisa.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you did. That's right.
Yeah, it'd be like 45, 46 if you just did like the USL's plan, if it were to happen. But anyways,
back to Lexington.
We have the chance to win this game. We are a better team at home. Omaha struggled a bit on the road. I feel this game has a lead up to some stuff because since June 13th, Lex has had one home game. And that one home game was the Tormenta game, which was a 2-hour delay on a Sunday night. This is our first Saturday game since May.
Yep.
It's the debut of the blackout, all black kids, as I saw. I want to call them blackout, but the technical term is all black. I think is all black everything is this whole line they're doing. If you've been following them on socials and stuff, all black everything. But this is I said the Fuego game was a must win because of where they were at the table type thing. This is truly like capitalize it, must win game if they are to save the season. And if they don't win this game or at least get points out of it, this is a thing where I want to see more of our youth. Kimball Jackson has barely played. Diallo Iracoza has barely played. Drew Patterson has only played a little bit. If we lose this game, I want to see more of them. Start playing our youth. Start giving people experience. Bring in Causey. I'm truly like if we lose 5 straight, Austin Causey needs to start. I love Abel Knight. He's kept us in games. He's a great keeper. But you need to switch it up. If we've lose 5 straight and he brings in some sort of have set against consistency, but if we lose this, it's time to just have some fun with it.
And I think Knight could potentially be somebody that you could look to put in the transfer market and get something back from him, right? Because he is quality. He is good enough to start at the championship level. Definitely at another USL one club, no question about that. But you wouldn't want to see him again later next year.
Yeah, I
Um,
could see them ship. There's plenty of USL one side or USL championship sides that probably need a keeper type thing. I could see him
yeah,
going that way, um,
or
sort of
maybe even
thing.
heading to Europe. For what do they call their third tier? Is that League One or something like that?
Yes. So in my write up, I mentioned this. The USL is basically copying the EFL. So for those who aren't in the know with the USL multi different communities, Twitter type thing, the speculated 3-tier system from the Athletic article would be USL Premier, USL Championship, USL One, which matches England to a T.
Yep.
And technically, if you throw in USL League Two, that's literally how England calls it. And it's how most places call it a bit. Germany just goes Bundesliga 2, Bundesliga 3 type thing. So Serie A does Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, Serie, like it's pretty straightforward type thing. But he could go to Europe type thing. I'm curious what you think Lexington needs to do to pull out the win out of this game.
To pull a victory, I think it is doable. Let me say that. I'm going to back off a little bit. I don't think this is as much of a must win matchup as opposed to what it was with Fuego last week, right? With that Fuego game, I thought that was if you have any hope, you have to win. Now that you didn't and you played as bad as you did, I think Coach Stockley is going to have his boys ready to go. I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas the entire game. I don't care if they do get down 2 goals at any point. They're still going to be pushing. They're still going to be attacking. There's not a to me. I think Lexington gets at least one in this game, and then it's going to come down to can Knight get a clean sheet, or can Lexington get two somehow and win this game. I don't know if Lexington has enough to win a 1-0 matchup, but I think they can do a 1-1 draw or maybe a late header by Fox or somebody um, to steal it. I could see Lex winning it that way, but to me, this seems more about a 1-1 draw. Feels a little bit more in the nature for what I think this matchup could be.
And I don't fully know the depth of Union Omaha's thing, but when I brought up the red card was to their left back.
Yeah,
And it could get overturned because it was questionable, and they've
I
overturned red
mean,
cards already.
it's Wednesday evening, my friend. Like, uh,
Fox's red card didn't get turned over till the day before, but
was it really? I
after
thought it was a couple days
it was
before.
like the night. It might have been 2 days before, so it would
Mm,
be had to be by Thursday if
okay.
we don't follow that same trend.
So
If
look for that tomorrow, Lexington fans. Like, if that is, because I think that could be the difference, right? Because to
because
me, that,
our strong side, where Nico and Diouf
damn
play,
it.
is the right side, which yes, Omaha's left back, but that is our right side. That is
Hmm.
Lexington's right attacking side. So our strong attacking side of Green, Brown, Diouf is all there.
Yep.
We could exploit that. Now they could have some depth, or they could rotate people. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Union Omaha. If you want experts on Union Omaha, check out League One Under the Rocks. That's by 2 Omaha fans, and their stuff is interesting. They timestamp their Spotify when they talk about stuff. They rant about their team, and then it gets like kind of normal about other people. So if you want the rant about Omaha and kind of get the like fan experience, go there.
And y'all
But
think
that is
we
our
rant about Lexington and Louisville. Y'all have no
oh yeah,
idea.
we do rant, but they're under the influence when they're doing theirs. I've seen like I forget his one face, but his Twitter profile is hilarious. His profile picture is hilarious, but he like tweets a picture of like whiskey right next to his like a whole
Oh,
thing of whiskey right next to his computer.
LaCroix for me.
LaCroix, yeah, you flavored water with the flavor that like was squeezed in the same room as it.
Nah, it's like the next room over. But I think Lexington can squeeze out a goal,
I
especially if there is that red card in play.
I think if I had to predict, I could see a 2-1 Omaha win or a 1-1 draw.
And see, I'm
Yeah,
leaning more towards 1-0 Lex or a 1-1 draw.
I could see Lexington winning, full honest winning, but with how they're playing of late and how Omaha is
Yeah.
playing of late, I'm seeing a 1-1 draw coming out of it.
Yeah. Well, and John, that'll take us to our last match of the week. Racing Louisville hosting their fourth round matchup of the group phase for the Challenge Cup against the Chicago Red Stars. They have already beaten Chicago in the Challenge Cup. So I don't think Racing Louisville is going to have too much of a challenge here. Now, with so many players out on international duty, what 6 total, right, John?
Yeah, they got 6 total, and with that, they're missing. Where is it? I had it. They're missing Kanu, Ari, and Lamelo, who have accounted for 6 out of their 8 goals
Yep.
in the Challenge Cup. Now, granted, Red Star have not scored in
Nope.
this thing.
And
Racing is running away with this group right now.
I don't think Katie Lund is going to allow Chicago Red Stars to score on her. I just don't see it
The Red
happening.
Stars are less depleted than ours. They have only 2 people on international duty.
hmm
Um,
But I think the depth from Racing Louisville 2, the one that was in the USLW League against Lexington, I think those girls are going to come in, and I think they're going to be more than enough to handle the
oh,
Chicago Red Stars.
I could see 2 things coming out of this for the Red Stars. I could see they're just mailing it in and more worrying about a playoff push because while Racing sits just outside of the playoff right now, 12th place is right there too.
Yep.
Like it's wide open for any team, and because Red Star need a lot more to compete in the Challenge Cup because they've just gotten buried, they haven't won, they haven't scored, they've just been destroyed type thing. I could see 2 things. They're either mailing it in or they're gonna be on like, no, we're gonna be annoying to other teams. We're not. So I could see
We're
it
not
going
giving
2
up. We're
ways.
just going to make
Yeah,
it muddy. Yeah.
yeah.
I can
But
see that too, but I just think the talent on Racing Louisville as a overall club, from their A team to B team to C team, whatever team you're throwing out there, I think is more than enough to get this victory and to keep pushing for that Challenge Cup championship.
oh yeah, and I fully think that Racing will pull us out due to losing and attacking options. I feel like it's a 1-0 type win, maybe 2-0. So not these kind of bigger. They've scored like 4-0 or something. I forget what it
Yeah.
is. It's
They've
gonna be a
beaten Kansas
closer.
City like 3-0 twice, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a closer matchup than would be when they're at full health, but it's the same. Also, with the Challenge Cup, you could see some racing stars return because there is
Mm-hmm.
no timetable if they fall out of the groups of like how long they can sit out. So technically speaking, now there's travel when the team actually leaves
Right.
Australia/New Zealand. Technically speaking, if China drops out or Nigeria drops out, we could see Kanu back like the next day. Technically, I don't foresee that happening. I can
Oh,
foresee
God, that
her.
jet lag. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could foresee 3 or 4 days after they get knocked out, but it's not in the sense of you have to wait till the World Cup's over to get your
Yeah.
World Cup players back who are knocked out. You can get them back as soon as they're out, which is fine with me, but I'm still pissed that the NWSL is playing during the middle of the World Cup.
Yeah, that I don't understand it. I know it's just for the Challenge Cup, at least for this weekend, but I just don't get it. I don't understand why your sport is happening with the biggest tournament that it has, and you're not giving everyone the break. Now,
Yeah,
one could
by
argue
this by this
before
schedule that we're seeing, there Portland and San Diego are going to be playing while the U.S. is playing, and Racing
that's
and Red Star are going to be
crazy.
finishing a game right before the World Cup starts for the
Right,
U.S.,
and if you go to that Racing Louisville game, I remember seeing this online. They will actually have the game on afterwards. So if
which
you're
is
going to that
smart,
Racing Louisville matchup with Chicago, make sure that you stick around after, to watch Savannah and the rest of Team USA in that first matchup against Vietnam.
which is very smart. Lexington is
Yeah.
hosting a watch party as well, where you can win a signed blackout kit, all black
Ooh.
kit. Um, type thing, but that's like you have to be there type thing. They'll give away a half. I'm not going to be there because that's a 9 o'clock game and I work all day. I want to be home in bed type
Yeah, I
thing.
feel
This
that.
World Cup is going to be very much because it's during being played and I work 40 hours. It's very much going to be a game I watch highlights of,
Same.
extended highlights, but
Yes.
I'm not waking up. I might wake up at 3 a.m. for the Portugal game. I might wake up for the U.S., but I may not. I'm not necessarily waking up for Argentina, Italy, per
No.
se.
No. But John, with that, any final thoughts on anything that we covered today that you didn't get to say?
In general, uh, with our bracket we did, the website we were doing is the USL Super League is hosting a kind of contest type thing. If you want to do that, share your results with us, tag us. My Twitter is on the screen. Jimmy's is the Bluegrass or BG Soccercast. Yep, BG Soccercast. Tag us, let us know. Foot Mob has one too, where it kind of does like a circle thing where you can kind of see your like knockouts there. Like tag us, let us know how we thought, type thing. I'm willing to accept. Like someone in our comments says we were wrong about Zambia. I'm willing to hear you out, type thing. Let us know what you think of any of our takes, type thing. I'm open to hearing about my takes. I don't know necessarily if Jimmy is, but I'm
Oh
open
yeah,
to
I'm
hearing
all
about.
here for you to tell me how terrible my picks are. God, I love reading it because you know what? This is for fun. I'm not giving gambling advice. If you need gambling advice, go talk to somebody else.
Yeah,
Dear God, please don't listen to me.
I'm not a betting man. I
Nope.
don't try to act like a betting man. I don't sports bet. I specifically don't do parlays because that's stupid in my
Oh
opinion.
Lord.
Um, but if you want to talk. But also, I do research. I will look, type thing. So you better like have a factual opinion. Like I dealt with someone today that said like something about Americans not caring about soccer. And I was like, well, they do care. We don't care maybe as much about American football. He's like, yeah,
Right.
you and all 10 fans. And he's from Atlanta. So I was like, yeah, this is 10 fans. I just found a random picture of Atlanta.
Atlanta
Like
United
this,
when they
yeah,
fill up the stadium.
like these 10 fans.
Jesus. But, John, with that, we will close up this jumbo edition of the Bluegrass Soccer Cast. I want to thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please make sure that you follow us on all of our social medias Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads. All of those handles are at BG
Threads is
Soccercast.
dead.
Do what?
I'm calling it. Threads is already dead. It's dead in the water. So many people joined that just because they were told to by their Instagram, and now it's dead in the water.
Well,
I
hey,
get
it's
calling it.
still alive for now. I still
Rip
keep posting
Threads,
on it.
July 2023 to July 2023. It is dead in the water.
Well, if you're not on Threads, maybe you're listening to us on one of those famous podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, and so many more. Please make sure that you subscribe, follow, like, hit that bell button or whatever the site has. And as always, this is Jimmy, that's John, and we will see you on the next one.